because no one's in charge of it. It's a board and it gets appointed and blah, blah, blah. No one's in charge. That's how come Governor Cuomo right now can lament about how tough things are, even though he's been the governor for 7 years. The reality of it is these boards have to go away. They must be underneath someone, Chief Justice, Governor. Someone must be responsible, not for blame, for responsibility. I was talking earlier today with the idea that I'm not happy with everybody being arrested. People seem to love that. They're going to jail, they're getting arrested, they're going to jail, they're getting arrested. That's a terrible thing. 2 reasons why. Number one, if so many people are being arrested, it isn't the people, it's the system. And the second part is, when people go to jail, we say, see, they went to jail, isn't that great? No, we didn't fix anything. The system's still broken. I want people to have responsibility to repair, not just blame when things go wrong. Someone's going to be able to repair, and that's not happening. It's a different way of looking at government. It's a different way of looking at how New York State works. Thank you. So I'm happy to take any Q&A regarding anything you like, education, work, licensing, how government works, anything you like. But please.
So assuming you win, how would you work with this huge infrastructure of bureaucrats who are all set in doing exactly what you said? How can you even touch that?
Absolutely. Yes, 100%. It's a great point. How do I get anything done when I get elected? It's a great question. I get it all the time. Here's the reality. First off, I'm going to be in court the entire 4 years, assuming I survive 4 years. Tell you the truth, that's going to happen. I will be in court the entire 4 years, assuming I survive all 4 years. Because I'm going to have an assembly against me, a senate against me, a press against me. A lot of people are going to be against me. Other governors, local governors who are party hacks against me. So I'm going to let people against me. So that would be a problem, absolutely. But here's what I will do. 3 things. The first thing is understand the Trump phenomenon. Trump has been beaten up and yelled at for so many years and months now, no one cares anymore. I will have that advantage. Everyone will be against me. Every day someone's going to be calling, he's a bad guy, Governor Sharpe's evil, he hates people, whatever. So if I can survive long enough, I will eventually become immune. That's piece 1, if I can survive long enough. But the other 2 pieces I'm going to do, I'm going to create the Office of the Repeal. The Office of the Repeal is an office that will look around and try to find, and I won't be doing it myself, I will have an office that will have people who will be looking to see what rules, regulations, laws, particularly affecting small business, that I can not have enough resources to enforce. Things like licenses to braid hair, walk a dog, I'm making this up. Vape shop licenses that have nothing to do with health, just I don't want a vape shop in my community. Things like that. I'm going to take those and stop enforcing them. The idea that if you get 3 DUIs or 4 in New York State, you lose your license forever, never revoked, no matter what, you be clean for 10 years, you never get your license back ever. These unfair things that I will all of a sudden just not be able to, oh, I don't have time, right? I can't do it, sorry. And here's the issue. One of those would be the SAFE Act, by the way. The SAFE Act is another thing that I will not be able to enforce. All those things I won't be able to enforce. I don't enforce them. People get mad at me. Well, Governor Sharpe, you're horrible, you're not enforcing these acts. Yes. How many people died from walking a dog over the year that I don't enforce it? Probably none, but maybe one will. Maybe one guy will trip over a dog and die. Maybe that'll happen, I don't know, maybe it will. If that one guy trips over a dog and dies, it does happen, I'll say yes, one guy died from tripping over a dog, yes, but the other 1,000 dogs that were walked were fine. So what are we worried about? This country was built on the idea that I would rather have a guilty man go free than an innocent man put in prison. I haven't forgotten that. That's what we're supposed to be about. So let these people get free. The problem with all these small licenses is all they do is punish the poor. That's all they do. They punish the poor. People who start dog walking businesses aren't millionaires. People who want to braid hair for a living aren't millionaires. These are usually people who have a problem. They've lost their job, they've been arrested, they have a felony conviction, and they're trying to find jobs and ways to start business because they can't get jobs because they have a criminal record. So instead, we begin to do that and not enforce. When there isn't a zombie apocalypse and things don't actually, no one dies, it doesn't happen, now the assembly will see the value in it. People will say, I've had my dog walking business for a year. State senator, state assemblyman, how can you reinforce this law and take my livelihood away? And they get repealed. So it won't be year 1, it'll be year 2 and year 3 before those become repealed. The issue is a lot of these assembly people do want to get rid of these laws, but they're afraid. Because they're afraid that say they get rid of that law, some dog trips or whatever over someone dies, they'll be punished. I'm getting yelled at every day. I don't care. It's fine. Yell at me every day. It's fine. So I'm prepared to take the air cover for these issues. When I get yelled at, somebody will go, oh, the governor is supporting us on this one. If something goes wrong, we can blame the governor. In which case, they will begin appealing. Does it make sense? The second is the office of the pardon. I'll begin to pardon people. Two types of people automatically. Number one, people who were victims of the SAFE Act. People who were convicted of a SAFE Act issue and non-violent will be pardoned. They should have never been arrested in the first place. The SAFE Act is a terrible law, should have never been enforced, doesn't make us any safer, it's embarrassingly bad, it's got to go away. So they get pardoned. Second, any people who were convicted of possession of marijuana, they get pardoned, going away. And I'll begin pardoning within the first 90 days. I'll begin that pardoning. I can't pardon everybody, that would be a terrible strain on the local communities. So I can't do it immediately, but I will begin to get rid of all those people and get them off. Pardon them. The problem is, news that it's not a very good way of expunging records. So I'm going to have to create that also. I don't know how to create that, but I'll figure that one out when the time comes. So we can start expunging records. Because those people should not have their records destroyed because they happen to have a plant in their pocket. And what about people who committed crimes or are robbed? They stay in jail, they committed crimes. But a whole bunch of people in jail are in jail because they had a plant in their pocket. That's unethical. That's immoral. That should have never happened. I will fix that. As I start doing that, and I start telling prosecutors, stop putting people in jail for having a plant in their pocket. Stop doing that. I'm just going to pardon them anyway. They will stop prosecuting because they waste their time. They'll stop eventually. When they stop, they can repeal that law also. So you ask what I'm going to do? Those two things. And the last thing is what I'm doing now. Talking about what is right and correct. Talking to the people now, letting people know what is correct, and that I'll stand for it, and that when they will do something right, I will not go, oh, I don't know about that, you gotta think, I'm not sure. I will go, yes, do it, I'm behind you. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think you're really diving into the original ideas of the founders of this country.
Yes.
Being on the right points.
That's true, yeah. I would like us to be more like the original than the Soviet Union. I'd rather us be like that. I would. It's my opinion. Some people would like Soviet Union. I get it. Some people would. They yearn for those days. I know. Some people do. Not me. So, go ahead.
What happens when you are in court, as you say, and the judges who are all appointed by the party bosses, whether it's an appointed position or it's elected, those people run mostly uncontested elections.
Sure.
So what happens when they order the enforcement of those programs that you're not enforcing, and the bureaucrats just do it even though you tell them not to?
Which is why I said I may not last 4 years. Because when they order me to do so, I will not do it. It's immoral. I won't do it. I'm not going to do it anyway. It's at least 2 years before they can give me anything anyway, right? It'll be at least 2 years in courts anyway. Right? My hope is within 2 years, I've done enough of this with the people behind me. And that people who are being elected and people who are being run will support me. Here's how it works. If the people actually believe in me, the courts are irrelevant. If that happens. If it doesn't, I'm in trouble.
Why are the courts irrelevant then? I mean,
if the people believe in it, the judges and the local administrators will not do it if the people believe it. Because here's what all assembly people care about, no matter what. Their own personal power. They all do. All politicians care about their own personal power. If they think their personal power is in jeopardy, all of a sudden things will change. If they don't think that, they're going to hammer me. So my goal is to make sure I do the best that I possibly can to make that happen. If I can, then it won't be a problem. Did I answer your question?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll be in court for a couple years. Yes, go ahead.
So us here on the island are victims of the MTA, specifically the
Yes.
SLR. How would you propose to fix the MTA?
Here's what I do not want to do. The MTA right now, as a general, there's about 80,000 MTA employees, give or take. The average salary of an MTA employee is $118 an hour. The average employee of a New York City worker is 30. New York State is about 22, give or take. So they all make a whole lot of money. Those who are retired, doesn't retire, they make $300,000 a year, retired, they haven't worked in 10 years. A big chunk of what you pay when you go on the metro, whatever that is, goes to pay things like pensions and retirements of that sort. I'm not giving the MTA not one more dollar. Zero. They will fix their issues with the budget they have, or they won't fix their issues. That's number one. I'm not going to keep putting good money after bad. So I'm not going to do it. It is the wrong answer. It is, again, moral and ethical. I'm not doing it. Not at all. Fix it with what you have. They will have to come to me and they will negotiate, or they will strike, or will collapse. Any of those three are okay. Because while I'm saying that, I'm going to be open to any other answer to fix the MTA. And when I say any answer, I mean any other answer. We want to put in a Google road that will have driverless cars that goes from Babylon to Penn Station. I'm fine with that. Someone has a helicopter that will go from White Plains to Madison Square Garden. Let's talk about that. I will look at any possible answer other than more money to the MTA. That is one thing I will not do. Their budget is their budget is their budget. That's it. They will not get one more dime. And on top of that, the MTA itself as an organization will cease to exist at its current way. It will become a situation where it is either a government company run by the government, or a private company. This hybrid, no one's in charge stuff goes away. That will not exist. It will either be run by the governor, option 1, or a private company, option 2. The first option is I will take over the MTA. That's the first thing. I'll take over it, period. It will be run by me. If appropriate in the future as we negotiate, should it become privatized, I'm okay with that option, but that may not be the right answer. Either way, one person runs it. The hybrid model just makes for corruption and no one in charge, and ensures the same garbage is happening now. That goes away. Does it make sense? Great. Any other question or comment? Go, please.
Yeah, so you talk about the committees up in Albany and throughout the state. How they're appointed by the government or whoever. How would you be any different? Because I can see where that committee of people with a like interest would be a petri dish for corruption. I can see it. It happens on a low level at work, and how do you stop that?
Yeah, absolutely, it's a great question. People have asked me often, Larry, will you do X or will you do Y? Will you force this or will you force that? And I almost always go, no. My goal is a culture change in the state, a culture change in government. So how do you change that? You change the culture. Some people may or may not know what I do. For a living, I do leadership training, I work with companies, I've been in office in a public company twice, I help do change management, I fix things, what I do, for a living, what I do. So what does that mean? You change culture. So if I don't change culture, it's going right back, no matter what I do. So I have to be doing this all the time and making a culture of accountability and transparency. So no group gets to go behind closed doors, decide what the answers are, then come out and announce them with the trumpet. That goes away. Everyone has to see what's happening. Will there still be some corruption? Yes, there's no question. But here's the issue. When people are doing corrupt activity, they actually aren't thinking about the actual punishment they're going to get. They're thinking about being caught. They're not going, oh, if I get caught, is that 5 years or 10 years? They're not thinking that. They're thinking, oh, if I get caught, screwed. They're only thinking, will I get caught? The more transparent it is, the more they'll think they get caught, the less corruption there'll be. Will there still be corruption? Yes. I'm never going to end corruption. Can I shrink it? Absolutely. The more transparent, the less corruption there will be. And I will enforce transparency all the time. And I'll take responsibility myself all the time. My responsibility, let's fix this. My responsibility, let's fix this. If I can survive 4 years, maybe even 8, we can change the culture to where it doesn't happen.
More than 4 and 8, but yeah, it's a start.
Yes, well hopefully I have a good lieutenant governor who will follow me. By the way, I will terminate myself out at 8 years. I will not do more than 8 years no matter what. Hopefully I get 8 years. If I get 8 years, I will not do more than 8 years. Yes, go ahead.
I wanted to say, I'm sure you're aware of the study done by Reclaim New York, where they said that New York is the overall worst tax burden in the states.
Yep.
So, what sections of New York's budget do you think are the most right for the family?
It's a great question. The issue is, people often say, Larry, you must be good for tax cuts. I'm actually not. I'm not a big fan of tax cuts. The reason I'm not a big fan of tax cuts is tax cuts just make someone else pay taxes. Right? So I cut your payroll tax, but then you pay on property tax. Right? But I cut your property tax, but you're gonna pay on gas tax. That's or worse, more debt. So I'm not a big fan of tax cuts. I'm a big fan of lowering spending. Big fan of lowering spending. And a couple ways we can do that. Number one, we can look at the Medicaid, Medicare issues that we have right now, right? One of the things we can do off the bat is look at the copays. The copays right now are about $1, if I'm not mistaken, for someone to wear a